Welcome to the Wednesday LiveStream from DulcimerCrossing.com. Let's make sure we're all set up in all the places. Yep, there we are. And I want to go over and just say good morning so I can comment on that. Today, we are going to be looking at a process that I use for learning a tune on hammered dulcimer. This is something that I mention in a lot of my classes, and it's one that is particularly helpful, going to be particularly helpful today, because I have this wonderful tune that my buddy Vi Wickham just wrote. And let me pull it up here. Gotta, whoops, find hidden agenda. Calls it the hidden agenda hornpipe, and I got it's not shown up there. Hornpipe. Yep, here it is. And let me pull it up. Whoops, this is his email. There we go. Let's share that so that you can see what we're talking about. What's fun about this is that Vi has done a lot of things. When he came back to Fort Collins, he started doing fiddle tune a day, recording in 2012, 366, because it was a leap year, 366 different fiddle tunes, and putting them together on YouTube. And they have become a really good resource for a lot of people learning tunes. But together we are Fiddle Wham Diddle. He calls this the hidden agenda hornpipe because he is a fan of tunes in B flat. And this link here shows on his website, vithefiddler.com, where he's got a playing of the tune, and then he's also got the sheet music. So just wanted to show you it's a B flat tune. Sure enough, decoding, when you have flats in the key signature, the furthest flat, or the flat that's 2 from the right, is the name of the key. So there's a B flat and an E flat. We're in the key of B flat, which means we need B flats and E flats. Well, we are a duo called Fiddle Wham Diddle, so what's going to be important, or why I want to learn this, is because I'm looking forward to the day we can get together and I can play it with him again. And so I thought, this is a fun tune. He really likes it. I'm going to see if I can play it. And I'm going to need to learn it in order to do that. Now, the thing about this is the hammered dulcimer is a very flexible and creative instrument. However, get you to be a lot smaller there. There are certain keys that are easier to play in than other keys. And if you play hammered dulcimer, if you don't know anything about it, you're going to learn something. If you play, well, then you're going to see this is my way of getting into it. All the march courses start a new box that are a key that we can work in. So the lowest one on my instrument, let's see, let's zoom out a little bit so that we can actually see the whole instrument. There we go. We can see the bottom. Actually, we're a little off from the bottom, so let's see if that makes a difference. There we go. This is an A, and I don't have a B flat below that on this instrument, but this is an A that is the bottom of the treble clef, or the bass clef, the bottom space, D, which is the middle line on the bass clef, G, which is the top space in the bass clef, and then there's C, middle C, F, B flat. So I do have a B flat, all fourths as I do that, but I'm going to need a B flat scale. B flat, C, D, E flat, F, G, A, B flat. Now, your instrument and that one needs a little help up there, doesn't it? Let's see if we can help it out. There we go. But I'm going to also need to come down B flat, A, G, F. I need an E flat, which is also called a D sharp, on a 1615 or a 1411, 1514. This, the one below the A and E course is an E flat or a D sharp. So I'm going to need that because I have this extended range dulcimer where I have the B flat that would be in here, down here. So I have two complete octaves of B flat. There are some other instruments that have this B flat in one of these weird ones on the bass bridge over here. So that's possible. But here's the process that I want to use, or show you the process I want to use when there's a new tune. Let's pop back over and see what the tune looks like just for a minute. This is a piece of the process. Let's share screen. And as we look at this, we can see that it follows in the B flat scale, good. And then there's a C natural, or a B natural, that's not part of the scale. And then an E natural is not part of it, and the C sharp is not part of it. It's just, this is really crooked and wonky. And that's why I'm interested in it, actually. It's got some weird stuff. So here's what I do when I'm learning a new tune. I call it the electrician's trick, because when you're working wiring in a box, you don't complete a circuit. So one hand in the box when you're working, and I'm going to start this with my right hand playing the tune so I can hold my music with the other hand as a way of, now I need that, I could use this D, but then I'm going to need this F natural. Now I just did that first phrase to right here. So I'm going to switch hands now. Now where did I get to? So I'm going to go back to the first hand, and I'm going to play the next phrase to finish the A part. Try again. Now I'm switch back and do with the other hand. Now, I've taken a period of time to do this way by starting with one hand and then the other. Do you know why I do that? I do that because I'm trying to map the tune in both sides of my brain so that when it comes, the wrong hammer comes up, which is going to happen inevitably, I'm going to say, I've been there before. Now, because of the way I need this E flat that's over here, this below the A, and I need the B flat, it's more likely I'm going to be using my left hand to get these notes. And the right hand can be these higher ones. I'm probably not going to be playing like this. My name is not Mark Allen Wade. I love watching him cross his hands, and I say, you're crazy. He goes, no, it's easier that way. But the fact that I've been there means I have mapped it in both sides, and I can easily find it. My goal in the end is to get to a place where what I'm playing is not something I'm directing my hands to do. It's as if the string calls for the hammer it needs rather than the hammer seeks the string. So the process is actually a two-step process. The first step is mapping it in both sides of my brain, and then getting to the string calls the hammer rather than the hammer seeks the string. It may sound strange. Now I see there's some questions, and so I want to come over and take a look at those. And Jim Fry, your question, I have tuned the C. This is normally tuned to be a C, but I've got one that's already in the F box. But what I don't have in this location over here is a C sharp. So I've changed that. I'm not using that particular note in the way I'm playing this piece. That would be another option. But, and just answering the question that some people have, retuning a string a half a step away from where it is on the hammer dulcimer is not a difficult thing to do, and the strings can handle it. In fact, I don't know if you noticed, well, I got to go to the John McCutcheon concert for the Walnut Valley Festival last Friday. And one of the things he did before he played one of his tunes was retune a couple of strings so that he would have some particular low notes that he needed in order to play that particular tune. And that's something he's done for years. I watched him do that. You can, yes, Doug Jones, you can easily tune a baritone dulcimer down from AEA to B flat, F, B flat in order to be able to play a B flat hornpipe. You're right. Now this one's very chromatic, and so making sure you have the extra notes on your dulcimer. You might have to do some dulcimer workarounds for the mountain dulcimer. And that idea could possibly, I'm not at all familiar with malleting horn bells, but mallet, because you're using different hands, you're actually connecting to different parts of your brain. And if you do learn the tune in both sides of your brain, you have it in both places. Now, it doesn't go faster for me if I try to figure out a hammering pattern by looking at the music and try to go like this. If I map it in both sides very clearly, and then I try to figure out a pattern, it's not any slower than trying to figure it out on the fly. But I know I need, there's that nice little buzzy thing. I could put a music stand over here, I suppose, but that would be just too easy, wouldn't it? Let's do it this way. Yeah, I could do that. That would be interesting. Try it again. There we go. Repeating. No, I'm doing the second half first. Sorry. I do like using this one. Thanks, Jim, for pointing that out. So that's what's going on in the first half. In the second half, I'm going to start with the other hand. And I have this A here, and I have this A here. that wall. Other hand. And I have to go from this E flat to that F. That's the only places these exist on the instrument. So both parts end up having this little chromatic, the similar stepwise walk at the end. B part. The B part actually seems a little bit easier. So the 3 steps in the process here. I'm going to write them into the chat here. 1, map on both sides of the brain with 1 hammer at a time. 2, work to have the strings call for the hammer rather than the hammer seek the strings. And 3, just about had it. I almost said it, and now I've written the other ones out. Good morning, Rusty. What was my third point? Who could tell me? Well, then you try the two-handed patterns. Alternate. I'm going to say it this way: alternate hammers until you can't or would rather not. Because one of the things that happens, put your hands together, yeah. Alternate hammers until you can't or rather not. The timing of the alternating makes a difference. But if I always want to start with my right hand, I'm not going to come over and do this. I might pick this D, but now I have to be all the way back over here. So far, I'm alternating all the time, but when I get into the B sections, and I could use this if I want to alternate. I could start with this A, But the next A, and I'm going to need this one, so I'm going to have to double up somewhere. That's what I'm trying to point out here. So there's several places where I'm going to end up, even though I'd prefer to alternate hammers, I'm going to double up and have some hammers that don't alternate. Now let me just check in and see how this fits with your experience. It's fun. It's for me, I like playing tunes, I know, but I really like learning new things. I listened, and what's interesting, I did listen to him play this twice. I listened to his recording twice, and then I went with the sheet music. Hornpipes are the bouncy rhythm, ba 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 ba, and so I listened to that, and it was interesting when he said it was going to be a hornpipe, because Vi tends, when we're playing together, he tends to play his hornpipe straight and his reels a little bit bouncy and hornpipey. And so I'm always trying to check with him and saying, is this a hornpipe? Are you playing this as a hornpipe? Or are you playing this as a reel? And he says, I'm doing it the fun way. So this time he was playing it in the bouncy bump ba bump ba bump rhythm, the long short long short long short. And this is that convention. That's just the thing to remember. Let me share the screen just to show you. It looks like it's straight. The rhythm looks like it's a straight rhythm. There's no bouncy stuff anywhere. There's no notation that says it should be played bouncy, but that's the convention in hornpipes, is that they're written straight but played with a lilt, played with the bounce. This is for your school, Jim. You like to always talk about this is hammered ulcer made difficult. But I'm always interested in what are the keys that people think we can't play in. And so for that, I have a story. I took my I got a James Jones travel hammered dulcimer. I don't have it any longer because I sold it to somebody who needed it. But it was a smaller body size. It fit in the overhead bin to travel when we went to England and Scotland the second time. The first time I just took a mountain dulcimer and a backpacker guitar. Second time I took the hammered dulcimer and the mountain dulcimer. And I went to the pub, the Tass, which is at the end of the Royal Mile. If you walk straight up the street there, the cobbled street, you walk straight up, you'd end up in Edinburgh Castle. So you walk down, you get to the end, the Royal Mile, there's the Tass. And it's got a great session. My friend Deb Cowan told me when she used to host several singing sessions there. And she introduced me to people or told me to say hello. And that was a good introduction, particularly on this night, because I'd been there before, the previous 3 years before, when my wife and I had gone. And this time when I went, I took the hammered dulcimer and the mountain dulcimer, and I came in and they were playing. And they said, "Oh, you're going to join us then?" And I said, "Well, I'd love to." I said, "But I played dulcimers." And I said, "Is that going to be all right?" Because, I didn't want to just assume that was going to be okay. And they said, "Oh, yeah, we let the ballroom player in, didn't we?" And the kid with the drum was just hanging his head. It's like, ugh, no respect. Drummers get no respect. So I had to take it out of the case, set it up on the three legs. And as I'm doing it, there's a fiddler sitting right here to my left. Or right here to my left. That's confusing, right? But he's on my left, facing away from me. And he's noodling out what he wants to do. And he's figuring it out. And the other people are talking to me. And I'm saying, Deb Cowan says, "Oh, Deb, that's so great." And I'm setting up and getting ready. And it's the fiddler's turn to pick a tune. And so he says, "Let's do The Water Is Wide in E flat." And I knew what was going on. He was fiddling around. Nobody plays that in E flat, but he wanted to test me. He wanted to know if I could play in E flat. Well, it turns out the instrument I had an extra little bass bridge. It was smaller, and then it only went down to a G on the treble bridge. Over here, let me change so we can. It went to a G on the treble bridge, and so to get the extra 3 notes that I have here, they were over on this bridge that had a couple extra notes. So it had an E flat, and it had a B flat on this side. It had an extended bridge. The whole instrument only went to here, which made it perfect for pubs. It was a perfect pub size instrument, but it had all the notes that went down to a D here. They were just on the left-hand side. But I knew where my E flats and my B flats were. So he called the tune in E flat, which means I needed an E flat, I needed a B flat, I needed an A flat in order to play the tune. And he kicked it off and let it. And so I just started chording along. And then, he looked around and asked if I wanted to take a lead, and I played a lead. And it was so fun because I'm playing and chording and looking across. And there were 2 leaders for the session, the one to my left and the one across the way. And then he was sitting next to this woman who was watching the drama going on. And she's kind of shaking her head. And then when I looked up when I was playing, she just grinned at me and nodded. It's like, I knew this was a test. He was giving me a test. Can you play an E flat? Because I know dulcimers. They don't do E flat. But I could. And so then I was golden then. I was in because I wasn't going to make them all stay in the keys that were happy for me. So I don't want to have spaces on my instrument that I can't play, even though there are spaces on my instrument that I can play better than others. And I'm not going to actively seek out what's always the hardest way, like Jim likes to talk about. Hammer dulcimer made difficult. But I don't want there to be places that I can't play. So I'm always interested in learning what are the ways I could possibly do this on my instrument. Hey, Ashley, welcome here. Ashley, for those of you who don't know, is the editor of Dulcimer Players News. And I'm glad you could join today. A very fun one to join, the Hidden Agenda Hornpipe by Vi Wickham. And what we've been doing today is a process for learning a tune on the hammer dulcimer. And I've listed those in the chat here, the kind of a 3-step thing that I'm talking about. And a 1211 has less notes, that's right, but you can be able to play all the notes that are on your 1211. You have, if yours starts at a G right here, that means you have a D here and an A, which means you have an A flat or a G sharp just below the A on the bass bridge. I mean, on the left side of the treble bridge. So knowing that means like, when am I going to get a tune that lets me use that note? How can I incorporate it? Can I move a tune that I know somewhere else over here so that I can play it? Those are the kinds of things I do. So that's it for today. I have been getting several suggestions for live streams, and I love getting those. Some of them I'm not qualified to talk about, and I'll have to find the time to figure out what it is that's needed in order to respond to that. But I'm always interested in things I don't know. So please go ahead and ask the questions or give feedback. I know I owe some people some handouts from the sessions that were happening in the middle of the move. I'm now here. This is my studio so far. Obviously, one does not put the camera in front of a window and have the person, but it's the only choice in this place. So, and I don't know if you could, there's no way to put blinds up here. So I've got to figure out a way that it's going to work, because this is a property where they don't let you, it's got the 22-page application to rent this place. Anyway. Oh, that's right. I should remember that. Thanks, Ashley. I'll be playing for the Dulcimer Players News Noontime Concert Series in a few weeks on Monday, April 12th. And I'd love to have you join us. You have to go there to get the tickets in order to do it, though. Oh, I guess I've worn myself out. I better go back to bed. Thank you again. This will be archived on the Dulcimer Crossing site, on the Dulcimer Crossing Vimeo page, and Dulcimer Crossing YouTube site, as well as here on the Dulcimer Crossing Facebook page. We're glad to have you here, and I've got to go get back to work on the transition to the new Dulcimer Crossing that we're putting together. But in the meantime, keep playing, keep learning, and have a great day. Bye.